Hello, and welcome to the Orchard Lake Museum. My name is Cory Taylor, and I will be your tour guide today. The Orchard Lake Museum is located on the corner of Long Lake and Orchard Lake Roads in the city of Orchard Lake Village. The museum details the local history of Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, Keego Harbor, and West Bloomfield. Today, I will be taking you on a tour of our 10 outdoor exhibits. Let's get started. First up, we have our wayside sign for the Orchard Lake Museum. This sign is part of the Wayside Exhibits program that's part of the Motor Cities National Heritage Area, a division of the National Park System. This sign is one of 25 panels located around Greater West Bloomfield. You can find a map of all of those locations on our website. Behind the Wayside sign, we have our green school bell. This bell was hung in the Green Schoolhouse, a one-room schoolhouse that was named after the Hartwell Green family, who donated the farmland that was where the school was built on. This bell was one of 3 that hung at different times of the school's history in the tower above the school. Up next on our south side of the museum, we have our Three Sisters garden space. In North America, Native Americans practiced companion gardening. That means that they combined the 3 main agricultural crops of squash, maize, and climbing beans, which promoted more successful growth for all. Next to our garden, we have our newest exhibit, which is our embedded tree. A society member rescued this tree section in the fall of 2020, and it has embedded street signs right into the bark. In 1928, these 2 street signs were nailed to the tree as street markers. Over time, as the tree grew, it began to envelop the street signs, and the signs almost completely disappeared until the tree was about to be cut down, and our member rescued it and donated it to the museum in the fall of 2020. On the west side of our museum is our front porch. First exhibit we have here is our grinding stone. Now, this stone would be used to sharpen tools made of iron, and guests can sit on the grinding stone and see what it's like to sharpen a tool when the grinding stone is on exhibit in the museum. Next to the grinding stone, we have our doctor's carriage. And this carriage was used in the early 1900s when doctors would travel from house to house to make house calls to visit sick patients. There's a couple of features of this carriage that make it important. One of them are these high wheels. So the wheels would help the doctor navigate the carriage around potholes, which are very common in Michigan, and this dash, which helped protect the doctor's legs from mud and stone and sand that would be kicked up as the carriage traveled along. Behind the carriage is our stoneware crock. Now, the Western stoneware crock was made after 1905. Crocks like this were used to preserve food. European settlers in the area might have used this in a variety of preservation methods, like salting, pickling, and sugaring. Behind our crock, we have this window. Now, the window would have been in one of the buildings on the Michigan Military Academy's campus. Michigan Military Academy became the Orchard Lake Schools. The academy ran from 1877 to 1907 and was known as the West Point of the West during its tenure in Orchard Lake. Up next on the north side of our museum, we have our Apple Island sign. In 2019, this sign right here was installed detailing the history of Apple Island. Apple Island itself is a geological rarity. Lakes as small as Orchard Lake don't often have islands as big as Apple Island in the middle of them. In 2018, Apple Island was listed on the National Register of Historic Places for its archaeological significance. Next to the Apple Island sign, we have our conglomerate boulder, which you may have seen as you drive past the museum. This boulder weighs in at 4,400 pounds, and it's made of jasper pebbles, cemented together over millions of years by a finer mix of quartz sand. This was discovered in Milford and donated by a former GWBHS president in the 1970s as a tribute to the glacier that formed Apple Island and its surrounding lakes. Our 10th and final outdoor exhibit is our archaeology dig box. Now this dig box would be open during outdoor events and during Apple Island tours. Guests of all ages can pick up tools like these, sifters and trowels and shovels and rakes, and discover hidden treasures inside the box. Oftentimes, guests will find reproduction arrowheads, which is a nod to our Native American predecessors. And that concludes our walking tour today. We could go into so much more detail about the history of this museum, Apple Island, and our 4 communities, but we'll save that for a later time. If you'd like to learn more, you can visit our website at gwbhs.org and find our archives, membership and volunteer opportunities, and current events. We appreciate your support and thank you for joining us.